for saying that right as I was about to pass.
Oh, man.
I'm just ready to go to bed. My daughter had a friend over last night for a sleepover. And it was fine, but...
So nobody slept.
Well, they didn't. My wife and I passed the fuck out.
Just don't kill each other. Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my wife was super worried because she's like, well, we should probably take them out to a movie and do this, this, and this. I'm like, baby, anytime she has a friend over, we don't have to take them places.
Right.
Like
that's
the whole point
point.
of having a friend over.
Yeah,
Right.
they can
Keep
just
themselves
be
busy.
here. Yeah.
Also, what are you looking at? Drop like $150 taking a bunch of kids to the movie
what
theater?
I was telling her.
What the hell?
It's
Just order
usually
pizza.
just those two. But yeah, and we did order pizza anyway.
Yeah, perfect. There you go.
Like last time she took him to go see a movie, I don't remember which one, and it was at a place where they had like a play area for kids.
Okay.
So, the girls just ran in there and played, the entire time while the movie was going on. My wife was just sitting there eating, drinking, it's like
just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're safe, they're entertained, we're good.
She's sending me, apparently at that time, I don't remember what movie it was, but they were the only ones in the theater. So it's like, so they had the place to themselves, they had the theater to themselves, so they're just like running all over the place,
nice,
doing whatever. And my wife's just sending me like messages and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're all having fun.
Oh man,
I'm gonna fucking dig out the festival calendar at some point soon because the festival season's about to start, which
starts next week.
Oh boy,
we have a big one. It's gonna be great.
I think ours officially gets underway with the Lilac Festival, I think.
Well, I mean, you start with a showstopper, right?
Well, yes. It tickles me because, like, I'm not even kidding when I say this. Like, the amount of people who flock to this podunk town in the middle of fucking upstate New York to go and see the lilacs bloom is shocking.
Here in Michigan, Holland, Michigan, if you go there for tulip time, it's normally like I think we only there's like only like 100,000 people in that area. But during tulip time that whole week, there's upwards of like 1 million just in that area. It's like, Jesus Christ, they're fucking tulips, guys. Come on.
That's right.
What tickles me as well is we just had well, first and foremost, the Lilac Festival is not this upcoming Friday, the Friday after. Fuck me, that's close. And we just also had one of the Masters show through town, one of the PGA Masters play in town. I know it was hilarious because I didn't even realize it was happening until someone pointed out on one of the radio stations I listened to. But like they had street cleaning crews out like twice the times that they normally do because they're gonna make it nice for the Masters. Gotta make it nice. And it's like, Jesus Christ, like come on.
It's not nice here. They're fooling you.
Like literally, this city is depressing.
Yeah, but the Masters.
Yeah. Gotta make a good opinion for those people who spend the money to come here or join the Masters. They're not here for the town. They're here for the fucking golf.
Right.
Speaking of which, why are they fucking here?
That's right. Don't you know where this is? All right, are you guys ready to get started?
Sure. I guess.
I think 25 minutes is a good long podcast.
There you
go. I could always go for a nap. I don't like to nap.
Well, yeah, I don't either. I wake up grumpy when I nap. I don't like napping.
I don't wake up is the problem. So I end up falling asleep, staying asleep, and then waking up at like 2 a.m. and being like,
good 6-hour nap. What the hell?
Yeah.
No.
People say time travel isn't real. They've never been to sleep.
That's right. All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpear.
Howdy.
And the Nimp.
Hello.
Final call for mailbag questions. If you have some stuff, we're going to start scheduling some of that stuff because my 2-week trip across the country is coming up shockingly fast. Oh no. So we're going to have to do that stuff here pretty quickly. So if you want to send that, tvgpfans@gmail.com, and send that in there. You can hit us up on Twitter, post it in the Discord podcast questions channel, wherever you want. Yell it real loud out your window, and then tell people to go visit us over at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers. What are they going to yell? Are they going to yell their question and then send to @TVGP fans?
That's right. Mail to @TVGPfans@gmail.com.
Don't underestimate technology.
That's right. That's right.
That is true. I'm sure Siri or Google Home will find its way to organize that for us.
That's true. $5 a month, the recommended tier over on Patreon. That gets you everything, including the uncensored exclusive Outcast, which is where we're talking about all the life stuff that's going on, the non-video game stuff that's happening in our lives before we start recording this here show. You also get early access to We Roguelike It, a show where I have dragged Moon into playing as many roguelikes as we can get our hands on, largely against his will, and I don't feel badly about it.
Sometimes it's a gem. Sometimes it's a gem. Shockingly enough, when I make a suggestion, it turns out to be a hidden gem, Boston.
Wait a minute. You also get 2-month early access to Critical Misses, a show where Moon and I are catching up on all the meaty hits we missed. We are deep into a new season. Things are clipping along here nicely. You also get exclusive access to The Wayward Sons, which is the watchcast where Moon and Nimp are watching through the Supernatural TV show. That
the worst idea I ever had, by the way.
Also getting underway, so if you want to get on the ground floor there, that is a Patreon exclusive at the $5 tier. You got a whole bunch of other stuff. We put out a ton of audio every month. We put out at least 2 or 3 episodes every week. So you can sign up for $5 over there. Get all of that stuff at patreon.com/E1M1.
Those ones are the digits one, not the words one, just so you are aware. That's the bit.
Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Oh boy. Oh, do I have 4? I should have 4. Okay, I do have 4.
4? All right.
Mm-hmm. Trust me, 2 of them are quick.
Oh, okay.
Technically, 3 of them are quick. Let's start with Paw Patrol GP. I'm all done and dusted with Paw Patrol GP. I've uninstalled that game. I needed to get it completed so I could install other things and then other updates on my Xbox. I'll get there eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So Paw Patrol is done and dusted there. It's a perfectly fine kart racing game. I look forward to the next Game Pass game I get from these developers who happen to make kart racing games for every single licensed franchise out there, apparently, according to Boston. I started the DC League of Super Pets game, which is the game based on the animated movie starring, I believe, The Rock and Kevin Hart.
You are correct.
I don't think they do the voices. I think they have impersonators doing the voices.
I believe you are correct on that as well.
Yeah.
I also did not know that it's not a 3-lane runner like I expected it to be. It turns out it's a res-style paint-em-shoot-em kind of thing.
Okay. So it's one of the reticle dragging sort of...
Yes.
Panzer Dragoon.
Panzer Dragoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's more of that kind of style, except it's, crudely animated and overly voice-acted already.
Oh, good. Good.
There's nothing like another... That's another one of Lexbot's down 16 times in 4 minutes.
I love it.
It's a DC game, so the villain is Lex Luthor. Not his dog or his cat.
Just actual Lex Luthor?
Lex Luthor, yes. Which, sure, I guess. Why not? Apparently he's rounding up all of the strays. Which...
One of those storylines. If he's
going to put them into a home, then maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I'm just trying to rescue dogs, please.
Yeah, no. But either way, you can, right now at least, I'm assuming there's no more characters, you can play as Crypto or some dog who dresses like Batman. Crypto is an established character. I understand Crypto. He is a dog from the comics who happens to have the same powers as Superman. I get that. I didn't think Batman had any pets, so I wasn't expecting a bulldog dressed as Batman. This isn't DeviantArt.
I think Joker killed this dog's parents. I had no choice but to bring it in.
Didn't they do it for all the characters though? Don't all the DC characters have a pet equivalent?
Yeah, but like, how much of that is like the what if sort of thing of like?
That's what I was going to ask, because I mean, even I know what's the dog's name? Krypto
the super dog.
Okay. Yeah,
to I give him his full title.
That's right. That's right. Put some respect on it.
He did show up in an official comic, but I always heard that these were just always like side one-off things.
Right. Heck, Krypto was big enough to make it into Smallville. That means he's a big deal as far as
there you go.
I guess.
And literally, he is a dog that has the similar powers to Superman. Like, it's insane. But yes,
Favorite chat says Ace the Bat Hound.
There you go.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's a bulldog. And anytime a bulldog is around, I think of the British bulldog, which makes me think of pro wrestling that's sad from the 90s. You have support abilities. So the only support ability I have right now is the Green Lantern one, which I think is a squirrel. Just so you know.
Okay. I think that Green Lantern is your first choice, but okay. Like, first choice is a game, like.
Yes. Yeah. So Green Lantern, he gives you basically a mirror version of you made of Green Lantern powers that shoots, so you get 2 times the bullets, essentially.
Oh, okay. So it's like your multi-shot option.
So it turns into an R-Type game where you've got all these different...
That's right. Yeah, you got the Green Lantern option. Yeah.
Well, from what I've seen, there are 3 other abilities. I think 3. I'm trying to think them through in my head. Maybe 2. One of them is the Flash's pet, who is a turtle, because of course it's a turtle.
All right, that's pretty good.
Why not be ironically funny about the whole thing?
Yeah.
He gives you better defense.
All right.
There's definitely somebody else in there who gives you increased agility. And then Wonder Woman's pet is a pig.
Okay.
Who gives you like a defensive shield, apparently.
Also, like in the footage we're watching here, this like quick time event running down the street punching spider tanks.
I don't know, dude. It's Lexbots. It's like Xboxes if PlayStation people had their ways.
That's right.
All of these Xboxes flying through the streets, they're going to destroy us all.
Is this turning into Sonic the Hedgehog, where all the innocent animals are actually piloting these things?
Oh,
Probably.
God, no.
Who knows? Maybe. That would be a great twist at the end. See, kids, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, you thought you were saving them.
This looks fine.
We can't let the merger between Xbox and Lex Luthor happen, is what I'm saying.
That's right. It's not good for Capital City, please.
If there is an equivalent in our real life of Lex Luthor, it's Bobby Kotick. So,
that's true.
It makes sense.
It's for sure.
Allegedly, don't sue me. I hate you. But it's fine.
This looks like a really solid kids version of this.
Yeah, I've only done like the first couple of levels. I haven't even unlocked like the second or third zones yet. There is, so as you're going through the levels, there are little card capsules that you can collect. Take a breath. It's not a microtransaction. You're fine.
Oh, okay. Pan packs.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's animals that you collect.
Okay.
And then you take the animals to Batman's home for the abandoned animals,
right?
Which is a little adoption center run by, I'm assuming, Ace the Bat Dog. And then you make them happy, and then you send them off for adoption.
Okay, doing a little bit of good.
Yes, so you have to read their character bios, you have to figure out what to feed them or what to play with them. They have a happiness meter. When that goes all the way full, you can adopt them to different families. I'm assuming I haven't got that far yet. I've just started to make them happy. I give the birdseed bird. He did not like it because he prefers hay because he grew up in a barn, apparently.
Okay, a little twist here for you. Open up your spreadsheet, keep track.
Know your lore.
That's just right. God, he didn't even know that.
I know a lot of random comic book facts. I don't know anything about these stupid animals except for Krypto. That's the only one I know, which is fine, I guess. The game's okay. It's an enjoyable little. I'm on a deep Star Wars kick right now, so I'm listening to. I think I mentioned in passing last week. I'm listening to A More Civilized Age because
they started back up.
Yeah, because they got off Andor, which I haven't seen, and I need to see Andor before I'll listen to them talk about it.
They did the Han Solo movie recently, and now they're moving on to Rebels, and I am watching it. as they're doing it. So I am ready for their next one.
I haven't seen any Clone Wars. I haven't seen any Rebels. I haven't seen any
you should watch
that
it.
Stuff.
That's how I got through all of Clone Wars except for the last season. Is just listening to that podcast and then upping for the next couple episodes and then waiting for them to come out.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like they said. It's a bunch of nerds taking this children's cartoon way too seriously.
100%. Let's find context where context does not exist is the specialty.
But they do a really good job, though.
I'll be honest, that seems to be the specialty of Austin, particularly. Which is fine. Also, I don't know if Boston is music for everybody or just for me.
That was bad. Okay, that was a cough. Feyre in chat to plug another movie podcast here. Has Star Wars Minute moved beyond the 9 main movies yet?
No,
they just did Solo, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't know if they've started anything after that, and my phone is on the other side of the room, so I can't check.
Mine. I can pull it up.
Because I don't think they hit they did. I don't think they've done the last 3. The last 3 of the Skywalker saga. Screw yourself.
7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're still. Yeah, their newest one that they just put out on the 28th of April is for the Rise of Skywalker Minute 10.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure they also did Solo before. I think they did them in release order.
Yep.
So they did Solo, and I don't want to watch Rise of Skywalker either. Like, I just don't. Like, I know I have to at some point, but I don't want to.
I'm currently watching Force Awakens, right? Was that what the first of the new trilogy? Yeah.
Force Awakens is 7. The Last Jedi, the best Star Wars movie,
came out,
is 8.
That's right. Get a move. Final Fantasy 8, Star Wars 8, you got it.
Spoiler alert, 8 turned on its size is infinity, and that's how much better those movies and games are than all of the rest in the franchise. I don't care what you got to say.
Don't at us.
I'm still a big fan of 5, which apparently makes me weird. So
5 is great.
No, you're fine. I love 8 because it opens the doors of what could be, and then J.J. Abrams took those doors and slammed them shut and was like, no.
Yeah.
If you like content like this, go listen to Critical Misses here on TVGP.
Yes. Yeah, wow, okay, yeah, we should.
we should.
That's all. It's good.
Into this.
What is this show if not a series of detours?
Just deep in the weeds.
But so yeah, DC League of Super Pets is a great podcast to listen. It's also a great Marvel Snap listen. Marvel Snap is not on my list. I have been playing Marvel Snap. I totally forgot about this. Don't even bother pulling up the video, Boston. I'm so annoyed because I'm not going to talk about it. I got to 97 and I'm back down to 88. I'm really frustrated.
Curses.
I'm really frustrated. Anyway, moving on. Bugsnax. I finished Bugsnax and got that thing off my hard drive as quick as I humanly could too, because spoiler alert, I needed space. I'll get to it eventually. Yeah, so I'm going to spoil Bugsnax without spoiling Bugsnax unless you know a specific reference. So I'm going to referentially... alert. Yes. Spoiler alert, but it's a referential based spoiler, so you actually need to know both endings to get the reference, which is great.
Double spoiler.
So it's Turtles all the way down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, not as dark as I was expecting it to be honest.
I mean, we told you it wasn't going to be dark.
4 years of hype, like, so,
right.
You know.
I think people thought that ending was darker than it was because they haven't interacted with media much.
Or life.
Yeah, like, it's not a bright and shiny ending, but, like, you should have seen that ending coming from a mile away, really.
Yeah, it was especially kind of nefarious. They dropped nefarious hints throughout the game.
Yep.
Like, it's literally things are just dropped in bit by bit, and it's like, yeah, that's dark. That's dark too. This is super dark.
No, like squinting your eyes and being like, what's going on here? Okay.
Yeah.
Body horror. Like, all right.
Yeah. That's an
Which
odd
one
thing
you
for
Jeff
you to
Goldblum?
say out loud.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, the game is fun.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the hat chase for that achievement, but okay. Stupid hats. I hate them.
Get hats out of video games. Come on.
You know what, Bugsnax? The lesson the Bugsnax taught me. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is the beginning paragraph.
That's right.
Which is, Viva Pinata should get a new release.
Mm-hmm. Thank
you for coming to my TED Talk. This is the end of my TED Talk.
That's right. I will agree with that.
Wrong. Bugsnax is a fine and helpful and dandy game. It is essentially Viva Pinata, except, first person instead of, God Sim mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Viva Pinata should... don't get me wrong, the games still hold up. If you have them on the Xbox, they're BC and they are incredible in auto HDR. Because don't forget it does that, and Bugsnax. Viva Pinata is a very colorful game.
Yeah.
Are they part of that Rare pack?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think they are in the Rare Replay, yes. I like Bugsnax. It was fine. The voice acting was okay, I guess.
It's fun. It's a fun thing. Yeah.
It's generally a fun ride all the way through. Didn't overstay its welcome, didn't understay its welcome. I was panicking a little bit because for whatever reason I had the 28th stuck in my head as the date that it would leave Game Pass, and it was like, no, it comes off on the 30th. You're fine. So I finished it on Friday the 28th. And like, oh, good, thank goodness. I can uninstall it now because I had to uninstall it because I had to install my final game this week, which #crossover game. As we flow from host to host to host this week on this.
From coast to coast.
Yes. From coast to coast to coast. This is Jedi Survivor.
Yep.
Oh, boy. How big is it the install them? Because I didn't look. I didn't want to look.
It was 133 gigs on the Xbox. It was a lot. Like, I had to start deleting stuff off of my hard drive so that I can make room for that. And my Xbox doesn't get used as much as my PlayStation, and it has a bigger hard drive than my PlayStation.
Yeah. I tell you, kids installing crap for you. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's get the obvious questions out the way first and foremost. Have you had any issues with performance?
The only issue... First off, I'm playing in performance mode.
Okay. I'm not. I'm playing on graphics mode.
Okay. The only thing that I get is screen tearing every once in a while.
Okay.
That's it. And I know why you're bringing this up. It's because a lot of people on PC are having issues all over the place, but it even doesn't seem to be consistent there either, because there are a lot of people out there saying that I'm running recommended spec on my PC and it works flawlessly.
Yeah.
But then there's people out.
There's a lot of frame rate inconsistencies on console, but not bad enough to say, like, it's running at 10 frames or anything. The lowest I've seen is, like, 45 and 40, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't... And everyone has to remember, the first game that came... I understand we're always on this whole bandwagon of you shouldn't release a broken game, blah, blah, blah. But coming from the first game, which I played more recently, this is way better performance-wise so far. Like that one, the first one, when that one came out, that one had issues all over the place on the Xbox, at least. So, but anyway.
Yeah, my performance is fine. One good thing that I have learned from playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It's not me. It's not Wanted. It's not me. It's Wanted Dead. It's that thing's fault. I am good at combat. Damn it! I'm good at combat.
Wanted Dead is too hard.
Wanted Dead's fault, not mine.
That's right.
That's
we knew it all.
Taken away from this. Yes, we hoped. The good news is this saved me the installation of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
There you go.
Because this is a Dark Souls game. For those of you who don't remember the first one, which I forgot about. This series is Star Wars Dark Souls.
But it doesn't have to be if you don't want it to be. There's enough option picking that you can choose what kind of difficulty you want out of it.
Yes, there is. How many hours are you in, Nimp?
So I am past Coruscant. I'm on, what was it called, Kobo?
So you're on the next planet. Did you make it to the city in that planet?
No, not yet. I just got to the big area and I'm exploring a little bit and bumping into all kinds of things.
I got to that point and then I started exploring because it looks like they were like, hey, that Elden Ring, that was really big and impressive. So how about we make ours a little bit bigger and impressive? I haven't played Elden Ring. I don't know.
Elden Ring's all open world.
Yeah, I know.
I would akin this more to like God of War, where you've got big open areas, and then you've got smaller sections that you can go through and do. So,
I love the intro to this game. I love they split the gang up from the first game, which I'm fine with, because it's building the backstory as you're playing the game as to what exactly happened between that gang originally. I immediately went and made my lightsabers white, by the by. I'm a white saber kind of guy.
I did purple.
Well, yeah, Mace Windu for the win. But
no, I was always into purple lightsabers before Mace Windu too.
Was it Saints Row 3? Did Saints Row 3 make you do it?
No, it's just I always thought that was a dumb color to make a lightsaber, and then they did it, and I'm like, that justifies me wanting purple lightsabers now.
That is true. Like the game looks gorgeous. Like it's shockingly beautiful at times.
Yeah.
The vistas and everything else is fantastic. Gameplay wise, it's more of the same, except they haven't really they haven't done the whole abilities thing of taking a whole bunch of stuff away from you. You start immediately with the single and the dual-sided sabers.
And you don't automatically start with double jump or Jedi jump in this.
Yes, you get double jump, you get mind control, you get all of these, which I think mind control is a new ability.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't think we had it in the last game.
Like you
get wall
start
running
with all of that stuff right off the get-go. It's like, cool.
That's cool.
What are you going to add? Because this is a Metroidvania, so I'm curious of what you're going to add. And there's this big, huge tease right at the beginning of the game where it's like, one thing Jedi always have to deal with is the temptation of the dark side. And of course, it does the Imperial March and Vader's breathing and everything else. And I came across a thing which requires force powers, but it's got a red and black symbol on it. So, gee, I wonder what's going to happen at some point based on my video game knowledge.
I've played a Lego Star Wars game. I know what's coming.
Yeah, exactly. So far, it seems to be really... I'm playing on default difficulty, which is the middle-of-the-road difficulty. If I'm dying because I'm an idiot by jumping off cliffs and things like that. It's like, oh, there's the minor spoiler here. It's in the trailer, so don't even at me.
And it's within like the first hour or two of the game, so...
the battle droids are back.
Yeah.
The Roger battle droids are back.
I love them.
Supers and
it is so great because they talk and they don't stop talking and they say the most banal BS. I
listened to one talking about how bored it was.
If you have the opportunity, there will be a point where you are climbing a ledge, and a battle droid will walk to the edge in front of you and stop. It will not see you because that's how wall hanging works apparently, and starts talking about the view. Let that droid speak its piece through to its conclusion, because it's some genuinely fantastic writing, some genuinely good delivery, and then when you do what needs to be done, Cal Kestis has a response which is really fun too. So give the writers time for you to listen to their stuff, because so far it's been really good, high quality, like barks and shouts and like background like conversations has been really interesting so far.
You run into people who don't want to kill you.
Like
I ran Mosey, who you run into, who she's part of a cutscene, so you can't really do anything with her. But I mean, like, there's been a couple times since I've met her where it's like you run across like other people just randomly in the world, and it's like, okay, this is new.
Like it's really great, and I just hit a moment which I literally cannot talk about without a huge spoiler warning, and the game is 2 days old, so I'm just not going to talk about it. I just can't. I'm not one of those people. It does some things which always tickles. Like there's certain things I love in filmmaking. I love a good flashback, a good flash forward. And one of the things from the first game, it's not a spoiler for this game, which I love about Cal Kestis, is he has psychomentally, or whatever it's called, which is basically he feels emotions from objects.
In the Force, yeah.
Which is the same thing that some
Boss
other
has.
Who?
Boss? The guy with the gold tattoo across his face where he can touch something and he can view the last person who touched it and what was going on?
I think we're thinking of the same person, but I can't remember the name I know him by. Either way. Yeah, it's really good. And I love this stuff. And I like Star Wars crap. Because even when it's disappointing, it ends up being less disappointing because of the world it is building, because of the
it gives you more to think about and things to jump off, like good jumping off points.
Yes, and this is also a franchise which is not just based on the whim of one upper-class D-bag who thinks that people aren't humans. Hashtag shade thrown at that specific thing. This is a franchise where, yes, one person was the central author of it, and then from there sprung the alternative universe where all of these other people started filling in the gaps. And then from there sprung the Clone Wars, the show, where more people started filling the gaps. And yes, Clone Wars has Lucas's fingers all over it, but this is not one person's vision of the universe. This is a lot of people collaborating to make this galaxy
better.
More filled out. And a lot of the times it's my favorite ones of those is people who don't feel the need to, as Rob Zachney puts it, make the galaxy the size of a kindergarten school. Where, like, I don't want R2-D2 or C-3PO in my shows. I don't want Chewbacca to show up randomly. Like, they do a name drop right at the start of this game. It's like, cool, that's a great name drop. You don't meet him, and I'm fine with not meeting that person. Yeah. Like, because it's also kind of a deep cut. It's not one of the main Skywalker family or anything like that. So it's like, oh, I know that name. I know that name. Well, yeah, I saw that little wink that you just gave me right there, and I appreciate that wink. And you can get as invested or not as invested as you like. And this game has done this thing where it's made it beautiful. The gameplay feels good and tight and really good to swing a lightsaber around and chop things in half, because that's what lightsabers are designed for.
Also added it so that you can chop up non-robotic things in this game, which I wasn't aware of because I went dark in this. Because yeah, I found a random stormtrooper's leg on the walkway after I took him out, and I'm like, oh, that's new, because they didn't do that in the first one. It was only robots. So, and this is still a teen-rated game too, by the way. So you're not getting, there is a boss fight where you decapitate somebody, but it's all completely off screen. Like, you think you did it, but it's off screen, and then you just happen to see a helmet roll, like just the top, not the whole thing.
Right.
So like it's all done off screen. So it's that nice little Star Wars Disney violence happened, but you don't need to see it kind of thing.
Yeah, they shadow collective it, if you want to use the Clone Wars animated show reference. I haven't seen it, and I can still drop that as a reference. How nerdy am I?
But I also like a lot of the because they added new stances to this game. So like you said, you've got the single lightsaber fight, you got dual bladed, and you can do dual wielding as well. And one of the cool things that I noticed too is when you're switching between single and dual bladed, he's got the other end of the lightsaber hooked up because they're disconnected, and he can connect them and disconnect them at will. So when he goes to connect it, the one that he's holding on to, he flips upside down and connects it to the one on his belt, and then he does like a flourish to pop both out at the same time. And he'll do like the opposite for that when you go back to a single lightsaber, where he'll deactivate one of them, pop it on his belt and deactivate it and do a flourish, and then he's got the single lightsaber. So I mean, they put a lot of thought into how Cal does what he does, and I'm interested to see the other styles, because I know that they have added other styles to this too, and I'm real interested to see how those play out.
So I went onto the meditation point, and the meditation point is your bonfires, essentially, to use Dark Souls terminology. And it does this thing where these walls of rocks come up, which is where you spend your skill points, is on these wall of rocks. And if you look, like, when you first start, only, like, the first 3 walls of rocks come up. And now, for me, a 4th and a 5th one come up now.
Are they broken still, or...?
One of them is still broken and faded, but it's coming up now. And it's like, oh no, is this the whole circle of rocks around me going to be like skill point spending like areas?
God, I hope so.
Because oh boy, that's a lot of skill points to be spending. Like, I don't know, man. I'm sure I will have different feelings, or better or worse feelings, as I progress in the game, but like, the writing seems to be solid. Like the kid who plays Cal Kestis, he seems to have matured a lot as in his performance delivery between the last game and this game. It's genuinely a fantastic game so far.
There's a lot more customization with this too. Like, I'm unlocking like beards and different clothes for Cal. The whole thing with BD. Have you messed with customizing BD1 yet?
Yeah, when you switch out his eyes, it's kind of gross.
Well, all of them, really. And I was explaining just to my son. So BD will stand in the middle of the screen while you do customizing, and you'll see what he currently has. And to the right, if you're going to swap out his head, there's different versions of his head that you find throughout the game. And what you do is, before you equip it, you can try it to see how it looks with what you're doing. And what it does is, when you move the head, it like slaps on the head on its body and removes the other one. And his body like actually like reacts to you like slapping this new unit on him. It's just really funny. It's like they put a lot of random thought into this game.
Oh yeah, and like BD is still a character too. Like, that's one of my favorite things. They managed to maintain BD's personality from the last game. It's great. Like, he's expressive, he's emotive, he gets himself in trouble when he shouldn't because he's a droid of his own personality kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like, he does that whole thing where he moves on your shoulders and moves around the environment himself.
You use him as binoculars now.
It's great. Because, you know, it has the Breath of the Wild binoculars, like, market token thing on the landscape kind of thing going on.
And it has fast travel, which was the biggest thing I wanted them to add from since the first game. So,
and it appears like they have also added a whole bunch of accessibility options, like a whole bunch, including like collectible markers and things like that on the map.
That's nice.
So there's a whole bunch more information and stuff like that, like in the game, that you can turn on and off at will as well. So I'm looking forward to getting more into it. I kind of wish I wasn't recording and just playing that instead at the moment in time. Like, I just got up to a really good point, and I want to know what happens next because something happened, and I will expect a text from Nimp like 2 hours after the show is finished. Like, wait, is this what you were talking about? It's like, yes, that's what I was talking about. Anyway, that is all I've been playing. Nimp, please continue with your tales.
All right. My next game that I played was Far Cry 6. I did beat that. Crap, I didn't grab my hour time because I just skipped all of the story. I couldn't be brought to care at all. And it was kind of disappointing in that there isn't a final boss fight in this game. Apparently you kill the final guy in a cutscene.
Oh, okay.
And then it just goes to credits.
Very Far Cry.
Yeah.
So there's not... And the whole... One thing that sucks is that one of the last, I think it's like the second to last or third to last mission, they just randomly put a stealth sequence in there.
Oh, of course.
And it's
all the way
to the end. One of those where if you fail it at any point, you restart the entire mission. And you don't have any of your equipment. You're provided with like a rifle that has a silencer on it and a pistol. That's it. But you don't have any of your equipment, any of your gadgets, and you don't have any of your like little animal friends.
The callback to 1997. I love it.
Yeah, which the animal friends I stopped using after a while because they just ended up getting killed, and then I would just not notice that I had to revive them, and then after a while they just go away, and you can resummon them from the menu, no problem.
Hey, Nim. explain him. It's 30 hours and 42 minutes based on your Xbox gameplay.
Is that where I was at? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of that was me just committing mass violence in the game. So
there you go.
But yeah, I mean, once I got to a point where the weapons were better, it became a lot more enjoyable. But I still didn't care about the story at all. So now that I've beaten the game, you unlock New Game Plus, which it didn't really say what that entailed, and I didn't want to restart it because now that I've beaten it, they reset the map that the game took place in.
Okay.
And I think it's either every week or every 2 weeks. Like the enemy will come back and like retake certain parts of the island, so you have to go back and retake those parts.
Right.
Which doesn't sound bad. I mean, it would keep you going, and there's like co-op and stuff that you can do with this as well. But I just didn't care. Like
yeah, like at this point, like why would you?
Yeah, and really the only thing that had me wanting to beat the game was I just wanted to see if I unlocked anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't, so...
Yep, probably not, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's all to say. I mean,
Bummer.
it's fine. I'm glad I paid $10 for it, which, in a different weird thing, because Boston had posted about earlier in Discord about, hey, you can have good conversations in Reddit every once in a while.
Right.
Randomly, after I'd beaten the game, there was somebody who had just beaten Far Cry 6, and they were talking about on Reddit about how like this was the best game that they've ever played, had great characters, great story, and this, that, and the other. And I stopped myself, but I kind of wanted to be on there and be like, what game were you playing? Because that was not 6. Unless this is
what
the
did
first
you
form
find
of media
fun?
that you have ever interacted with at all.
Right.
Because one of these characters' names I can't even say on this podcast because it's a swear word, and that's their legitimate name that they're called in this game. So it's like, this isn't the early 2000s where everything needs to be edgelord. I just wanted to play something with a decent story. So that's Far Cry 6. I beat it, and it turned out to be a wet fart that I shouldn't have gambled on. But whatever.
But maybe Far Cry 7. Huh? No, probably not.
No, the only reason why I played 5 is because it was on Game Pass.
Right.
Yeah. And like I said, I only played 6 because I picked it up for $10. So the only way I would pick up another Far Cry is if it's dirt cheap or it's on Game Pass, or if somehow they release it and everyone is like, man, this is the best thing ever.
Right. The
Blah,
best
blah,
Ubisoft
blah.
game ever.
Yeah. It's like, all right, cool, then I'll check it out. But no. So the last game that I played, because we had already talked about Survivor, is I played Honkai Star Rail.
Me too.
I figured, because I was telling Moon, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a bookend for the front and a bookend in the back.
That's right.
What are you playing it on? Because you can play it on computer or mobile. Yeah,
I'm playing it on my phone, which turns out the mobile version does have controller support, ... once you finish the tutorial, which is really weird, and the tutorial is really long, so I have no idea how the controller support works.
So I've been bouncing back and forth. I've been playing it on my phone, which is the touchscreen, and I've been playing it on my PC.
And for anyone that's asking, the PS4, PS5 versions aren't out.
No. Later this year, I think they said?
I think so. And they were smart enough not to announce a Switch version that they're never going to ship, like Genshin Impact.
Yeah. But between PC and mobile, they are pretty one-to-one for connectivity. Okay. I checked it. I wanted to see how close everything would be. So I basically booted it up on my phone, ran around an area, left my character in a specific area, logged off, booted it up on my computer, and it started me right where I left my character.
That's cool. That's
nice.
So
it's pretty one-to-one. I am using Epic, which just has you install it and it opens up the game window, and then it opens up everything else through Hoyoverse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I don't think it's on Steam. It's not on Steam, and I don't think it's on anything else. I think it's only on Epic for right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's free, so whatever.
Yeah.
If you played Genshin, this is exactly Genshin, except for that the battles are just
it's turn-based RPG.
Yeah, turn-based. There we go. That's it. Other than that, like the controls on the mouse and keyboard and on mobile are exactly the same as Genshin.
It looks exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
The gacha stuff is the same. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's if you did not like Genshin at all, or you don't like gacha, but specifically if you played Genshin and thought, it's not for me, this is not going to change your mind. It's basically the sci-fi version of Genshin.
Yeah. I feel like that's why I'm probably not going to stick with it long term, because eventually I run out of patience for the gacha stuff. I do feel like the turn-based RPG stuff is actually done pretty well. It feels pretty solid. It doesn't commit the sin of like not making turn order clear. I think that stuff is really clear and well communicated.
Because it uses the same timeline for like Final Fantasy X, where you just have like on the top left, you just have pictures of this person's going now, there's things going next, this thing's going next, and that's all there is to it.
I think my only criticism from a gameplay perspective for the RPG, like the turn-based stuff, is they have a system called a break system, where essentially you do enough damage to an enemy's shield, or you especially do enough damage to them with kind of a matching elemental type, and they break and they kind of miss out on a turn. They take a little bit of extra damage, and sometimes they'll get bleed damage or things like that. I wish they stayed in that break status for a little bit longer. I feel like they don't go through a full turn of being out. They just kind of go until their next turn. And sometimes you break them, and then the next action is their turn, so they're immediately up and attacking. It's like I wish that felt a little bit better, but
I know with one of the formidable enemies, when you did that, they would recover from the break, and they would already have an extra turn just because they were formidable.
Yeah.
So they would still you might as well not break them, because they would recover and then they would still be able to attack.
Yeah, they'd attack right away. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of having 2 attacks, it was just a recovery and an attack. So
yeah.
But one of the cool things, one of the characters that you get for trial, because of story, is actually the redheaded lady that's in the video, whose name is Himiko. Mm-hmm. She actually has an ability where if you cause 3 break actions, she automatically does an AoE attack against all the enemies.
Yeah.
So I've had that pop a couple of times where it's like I will break 3 people, she will do her attack, which will then break somebody else. Then I'll do everybody's ultimates, which will then cause more breaking, which will then cause her to attack again.
Yeah.
Because it's stacking. It's not, she does it once, per turn or per run. No, it's just any time that hits 3, she just goes in and does an attack.
Yeah, that feels really good.
That saved me a couple of times on a couple of these harder fights that I've been doing. So. But
also want to have a special call out for one of your characters you meet immediately in the game, whose name is March 7th. That's just her name. March 7th. Yeah. This thing's anime.
And she does... Her ultimate attack is she shoots an arrow and they turn into a bunch of bunnies that explode.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is the dark history behind March the 7th?
They found her in space floating in a piece of ice, and that was the day she woke up after being cracked out of that space, a piece of ice.
But I have also heard that there is something else that her name represents as well in the whole Hoyo universe, whatever.
Yeah.
Marvel DC Cinema World
that's
thing.
Right.
That's happening.
The Hoyoverse cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but I mean, it's not a bad game at all.
Yeah. So far, it seems pretty good. I think. I appreciate that they take a really long time in the intro, because if you've played any gacha game before, you've probably run into one where it's like, welcome to the game. Here's one of 45 messages about banners and pulls and notices and free stuff and 2 million registrations, and like there's just all of this stuff that dumps on you, and they do a really good job of slowly introducing you to that stuff, and at the same time teaching you how to play a turn-based RPG if you haven't played one before. And if you have, it kind of largely stays out of your way, because it's going to control the same way that it really always does.
Yeah, you just click through it real fast and you're good to go.
And I also have to say, English voice acting, really good. Like, legitimately outstandingly good. And they have a ton of voice actors in this game. I was not expecting it to be in English, and it's really good.
There are a couple lines where they say something. It's like, man, you guys we're only like 20 minutes into this, and you're already going full anime with this crap.
Oh yeah, they're already like, oh my gosh, the Stellaris core. Can we possibly do that to stop the destructive worm? And it's like, what are you talking? And it's a lot of like, oh my gosh, have they finally gotten it? And it's like, come on, for real? You're gonna pull they got the thing.
Or I can only be like 20 minutes away from having to test my resolve again on some
100%.
random thing. But
well, I mean, the power of friendship is going to save us in the end, surely.
One day. But I do absolutely love how all of these characters have these awesome weapons, and you have a sci-fi bat.
Yeah, you just have a baseball bat that glows.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, and of course, they have their like mascot character Pom Pom that drives this train that your characters are using to navigate between worlds in space. And I mean, like, all the space stuff, you can see it on some of the video here if you're watching the video version. A lot of the sci-fi stuff looks really cool. Like, their space station looks really cool, and I really appreciate that.
Just the idea of the train looks really cool. Like how you have that, like, underneath it does. Obviously, it's not riding a rail, but it's got like the rainbow glittery,
sparks flying off of it.
Yeah. And it's got this weird cylinder thing that looks like a revolver cylinder towards the front, which I'm like, okay, can this be used as a weapon?
Right. Is this also a gun?
Aesthetically?
Is it a gun train?
Yeah. So, oh my god, if only. It just transforms into a Gundam or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed Genshin, so I mean, this is still right up my alley. I probably won't put any money into it anytime soon, just because I don't have the time that I did when Genshin came out. So,
well, and I think if you can leverage a complaint against MiHoYo is that their pull rates for gacha are some of the stingiest in the industry.
Yeah.
So I will never recommend people putting money into pretty much any of these games, but especially not their games. And I know they have like pity pulls now, which seem a lot more fair, but like it's still not that great.
Mine for Genshin was mostly just, hey, this is free and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
so here's like $5, every once in a while.
Yeah, I think Genshin had a really fair, like, the thing where you'd pay $5 and then you'd get drops every day for a month of like, whatever the currency was.
Yeah,
that
got
felt
that
pretty fair.
Too.
Yeah. So like that's probably the one I would recommend if you're going to be playing it every day or multiple times a day. That seems pretty fair, but
it also seems like, because the thing that they did with Genshin is they have it set up where you will get characters that are story related, and those are yours to keep, and you can beat the game and you can do all the side stuff with those characters. It's not going to be the top quality build that people who dump all the money in, the whales do get, but you can do it, and I would assume that you would be able to do the same thing with this game so far. I don't know, because it just came out.
Well, and also this game doesn't have any multiplayer. Like, it has a friends list, so you can. Yeah. I think you can borrow units from your friends. Like, that's a pretty standard thing. But I don't think, unlike Genshin, I don't believe there's any multiplayer in this. So there's not even like, there's certainly no PvP, but there's certainly not. I don't believe there's any cooperative stuff either. It's really just a single player thing.
And I mean, with it being roleplay, I mean, you could, but it wouldn't be the same. I guess the better option would be the whole, being able to train up a character and let other people use it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, unless it's something that you unlock after you get out of the tutorial. Because it is.
Yeah, I've already finished the tutorial.
Like, did you? Okay.
I just finished that last night, and I'm on the first planet after the tutorial, and none of that stuff is really showed up. From what I've been reading about, people are like, yeah, there's no multiplayer, it's just single player, which is, is pretty great.
Works for me, because it's one less thing to have to worry about. Which, with Genshin, it was just an extra side thing where you could just play with your friends and explore. So
yeah, I thought that was fun.
Whatever. Yeah. But yeah, outside of that, it's like there's a ton of weird stuff you can do. Obviously, we haven't checked everything out yet, because for what little it gives you at a time, there is a ton of stuff in this game that you start clicking around in the menus, and you can get lost rather quickly on what's happening. So I will keep kind of messing around with it and checking it out, because even right now, like the card system that they have up right now, there's like these, what do they call them, cones of light or whatever, that you can equip on the characters.
Cones, something like that.
There's the memory fragments. There's what was basically the constellation setting from Genshin for each individual character. You level up characters using, like the experience scripts or whatever, and then you upgrade the constellation skills, and it's your standard gacha stuff. So
it's all kind of standard stuff.
But I mean, it plays fine on my computer, which we talked about a while ago, isn't super beefy or anything, and it plays fine on the phone. So
I'm actually surprised. On the phone version, they have 3 frame rate settings: 30 frames, 60 frames, and 120 frames, which is usually it's just 30 and 60 if you're lucky. But 120, I don't think my phone can do that. It doesn't seem to be any different than 60, but it's kind of nice that they have that for some like real crazy powerful phones.
So
and it looks good, it sounds good, plays well, seems cool.
I have no issues with it so far, besides it being a gacha game. So
the inherent kind of gotchiness of it.
But whatever. So those are the 3 games that I've played. Boston, what did you play this week?
I finished Final Fantasy V, and I got the platinum for it. It is my 50th platinum, which sort of worked out well, sort of timing wise.
5, of course.
I did not plan that. I thought it was going to be Stardew Valley, but Stardew Valley is that mini game, man. But I had it planned out so that when I defeated the final boss, I would get like 4 trophies all at the last minute, and then the platinum would pop, and that actually did work out.
This is something I don't like about the Xbox. I love it when that happens, when it's like kaplunk, 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 rare achievement, that's every achievement in the game kind of thing. Whereas on the Xbox side of things, when games have that get every achievement, that will pop first, and then everything else will pop afterwards. And like, come on.
I actually hadn't gotten a platinum either for a while, and I didn't realize they upped the animation for it.
Oh, yeah. So does it spiral?
Yeah, so it there's like a flower that unfolds and spirals, and then the platinum trophy like grows out of the middle of it. It's very, very cool. Because like you said, Moon, like you want that to be an event. Like you finished everything in this game. I want there to be something there,
some fanfare of some sort.
Throw me some confetti or something. So I completed that, and I am really happy with this version. I didn't run into any problems. I forgot about it, but the new version of the final boss music is really, really good. They kind of nail the soundtrack overall, but they really lean into it when they need to. And like the final credits music is really great. They actually do a fairly good job of not emulating the Mode 7 stuff from the original, but they replicate it fairly well, which is pretty impressive. And I got to do all of the stuff in the game, which I haven't done since like the Super NES version. I played in like 99 or whatever. And I even, because you need to for the a bunch of different trophies, but I killed both of the super bosses too, Omega and Shinryu, which I haven't done, 20 something years probably. So it was kind of nice to get a tour through everything in Final Fantasy that you don't really get to do in general. And 5 continues to be great. It's this fun, super campy story that takes itself just as seriously as it needs to, and has an incredible job system. So it's what more do you need? So 5 is great. I love it. The Fiesta will happen in 2 months, something like that, I think. So I'll talk about it again then. That's when you'll really put it through its paces on the Fiesta and see what's broken in this version. I haven't really seen anything too different from people out there playing, so I don't think it diverges too much from the PC version of the Pixel Remaster, thankfully. My last game here, I checked out Forza Horizon 5 Rally Adventure. This is the most recent expansion that came out like a month ago, I think. And if you were guessing, hey, is this a rally one? You're right. It is.
What? I never would have guessed. Just like I wouldn't have guessed that the Hot Wheels one was a Hot Wheels one and the Lego one was a Lego one.
Yeah. It's real weird. This one so far is fine. I'm not the biggest rally guy. They've done a lot of work to the engine on this one to put the symbols on the screen of, hairpin right, easy left, things like that. They have the person up in the helicopter calling out the different turns for you. They really do go through a bunch of extra stuff to turn it into kind of a rally experience. But it doesn't control foundationally different than Forza Horizon does. I wasn't expecting it to, but it doesn't really control like a rally game. So, this isn't, if you're looking for a brand new version of your favorite rally game, it's really not like that at all.
Well, hang on. Did you pump all of your settings all the way to max and turned off all the assists?
So, they actually, I was kind of surprised because once you finish your first game or your first race, the kind of like tutorial race where it's like cutscenes in between and stuff like that, they actually do pop up a new thing saying like, hey, you do have the assists on. We have kind of a package of assists we recommend for the rally experience. If you don't want to, you don't have to turn all that stuff on, but you should turn the driving line off. You should turn auto brake and auto steer on. You should turn all of these things off to turn it into a kind of more directed experience that you're not following the driving line now. You're following what the
directions.
Yeah, like what the person is telling you in your ear. So I think that's pretty neat. Like, I think that's a nice choice for them to go through. Also, early on, your kind of first 3 races after you do the kind of intro, showdown race, you get introduced to 3 different teams of racers. It's essentially like one team only races on dirt tracks, one team races on a combination of dirt and asphalt, and the third team races only at night. No matter what the conditions are, no matter what the weather is, they only race at night. And then you pick which team you want to join early on, and the game is pretty clear about like, you're going to race all of these races anyways. This is kind of just the team you're starting with. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I think my only criticism of this is the map is really small. It's hard following up the Hot Wheels DLC, because Hot Wheels is like on the ground and in the air. It's this massive thing where you're turning up and down, you're driving stuff that's got jet engines strapped to the back of them. Like, it's a very different experience. But when you get dumped into the new area in this DLC, and you like discover your first road, it's like 1 out of 23 roads. It's like, that's really low. Like, it's a very small, very compact area.
I'm used to that number being high 3 digits.
Yeah, it's usually like first road out of 483. It's like, wow, boy, okay. And I feel like the Hot Wheels one was in was over 100, I think, but I don't quote me on that because it's been a while since I played it. So I don't know. It's okay. Rally driving isn't really my thing in general, so if this is good or bad, I'm not really the person to tell you about it. The reason why I was reminded that this DLC is out is because there was like a new patch for Forza where they're like, we put in the middle of the map, we put an oval track, and you can race against people and submit times, see who's the fastest. And I was like, that's just Forza Motorsport. Like that, I don't know why you're putting that in. That's okay. And then I remembered, oh yeah, the Rally DLC finally came out. So far it seems pretty good. I don't know if this is one I'll stick with. I didn't even finish the Hot Wheels one because I feel like at some point with the Forza Horizon games, I kind of do everything I want to do, which is usually all of the races and most of the stuff that isn't the drift stuff, and then I go, I think I've seen everything I need to in this, and then I kind of dip back when there's new DLC, and I'll probably do that with this too. Also, I didn't get a ton of time to race this because as soon as my kids saw I was playing Forza Horizon 5, she said, "Daddy, I need to drive the car. Daddy, can I drive? Can I drive this car?" And I was like, "Yes, you can."
I was going to ask because I seem to remember your young one having a weird fascination with the Forza games.
She really loves Forza Horizon 5. I have no idea. I think because she's like at the right age where she wants to play stuff, but there are too many fail states in a lot of games. And like, I think when I try to sit her down and have her play a game that's kind of for her age, even if it's a Paw Patrol one, it's not something she's really interested in. Because I think she wants to play the game that I'm playing. She doesn't want to play a game for her because she's 6. So I think that's been the kind of struggle for her.
Forza is usually pretty good to vibe with too, because my wife doesn't like racing games at all. But like with the last one, I set her up with like that aerial buggy, and she just went around and did all the barn finds.
Nice. Yeah,
and she was having a grand old time just bashing through all the trees and stuff. So,
well, my kid really likes just driving around the wilderness and like seeing if she can get the kangaroo or the Smactus medals because she thinks Smactus is a really funny name. And I was like, yeah, big same, kid. So, and I think for her, like, if she runs into something, then she just backs up and she goes the other direction and she's fine. Like, there's no real, you got 8th place, you're the worst driver in Mexico. It's none of that stuff. It's just like, yeah, I'm just going to drive around and throw myself off cliffs. And it's like, yeah, me too. That's great. So that's Rally Adventure. I don't know if it's going to bring anybody back to Forza Horizon 5, but you haven't played Forza Horizon 5 before, you really should. Like, the base game is still on Game Pass, and it's still really great. I keep forgetting it has Dolby Vision support, so every time I fire it up, I'm just like, God, this game looks so good. It runs so well.
It's so different.
Oh, man. Yeah, I like, this is the first time I'm playing it with my soundbar, too, so, like, I actually have bass and speakers now. There is a new, as you mentioned it, there is a new radio station in this, Epitaph Records, which is a little bit screamier rock than I am kind of gravitate towards, but it's nice to see that they have put additional music into this. But yeah, Rally Adventure. It's an adventure with some rally. That's all I played this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Who is DMing me on Twitter?
The Crypto Bros.
I don't work for Bungie. I don't know the answers to these questions.
They want your apes.
That's right. Did you know you can have more than one slurp juice applied to one ape?
So what's the question they had? What they want you to fix?
Do you know when the knees out emblem codes are being sent? No, I don't work for the Bungie Foundation. I do not know.
Yes, I do. No, I am not at liberty to disclose that.
Actually, I sent out all the codes, and because you bothered me about it, you're not getting one. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good times. So I gotta put on my best customer service face and be like, I'm sorry, no, I don't. Bye.
Sometime within the next 2 to 3 hours, you should be fine.
That's right. Just keep refreshing your mailbox.
And then block and mute them.
That's right.
Oh,
God. Thankfully, I don't have to block too many people. It's just the transphobes I have to block. Every time I promote, like, hey, you can get all these free codes, including, like, the really cool trans flag one, and people are like, I can't even. It's like block, 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 block. Only thing I wish Twitter would do.
Control people and
right. Only thing I wish Twitter could do is if you could block one account across multiple. Sorry, if you could block one Twitter account across multiple accounts that I own. So if I see someone like really showing their ass about being like a transphobe or something else that's horrible, I just want to say like I want to block this across every account that I own. I have not found that yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
And don't expect to find any form of new features in Twitter that aren't charging you money.
That's right.
You never know. Right. You may accidentally get something like people who got blue check marks by accident.
That's right.
Or whatever.
That wasn't by accident.
Yeah.
It's whoever had more than 1 million followers, including dead people. Whoops.
Yeah.
Whoops-a-doodle. That's against the law.
Guys, I've been finding recently is like my tolerance for social media is just zero.
Mine is like, through the floor. It's a negative
political
number.
Anytime anything comes up about gun control and I see those people like, oh, you can pry it out of my cold dead hands. I'm like, okay, I'll see you at your funeral then, you dumb SOB.
Coming for your cold dead hands here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am, every time I like find myself doom scrolling, I'm like, I'm going to go play a game. And then I go do that. I go do anything else in my life.
TikTok I don't know why, but every once in a while, like I'll watch a couple political things here and there just to see what's going on, you know, that people have posted.
Check. You want to vibe
that's
check.
Yeah.
But then I get like everything. Like
you get all of the political stuff, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, no. I know.
Did you know the frogs? It's just like, no. Just
it's like
no.
I had one which was actually kind of funny. I had one person who did a video talking about how they believed in flat Earth. Because the Earth is what they say, like 70% water, and it's not carbonated.
You know, all right. You know what? That's one I haven't heard before.
Yeah, they almost got a block, and they brought it back around. So.
Right. You had me in the first half.
Great. That is a great one.
All right. You know.
Oh,
okay.
That reminds me. Boston, did the midpoints go in the outtakes too, or not?
Yes, for the Outcast. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I meant to introduce this at the start of the show. I forgot.
Oh no, dad jokes. It's a punderful life.
What's the warning say?
Bad jokes can happen to good dads, which is a very good joke in itself.
It's pretty good.
What do you call a person who is happy on a Monday?
What do you call them?
Retired. I used to work at the calendar factory, but I got fired for taking a couple of days off.
Oh, God.
What does Dr. Jekyll do first thing every morning?
What?
She wakes up. There was a robbery at the Apple store today. They caught the guy because they had an eyewitness.
Oh, my God. Favor in chat says... Oh, God, that's a dad joke, too. Oh, my God. I hate all of you.
When it becomes apparent?
Favor says, when does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent.
And
show's canceled.
The final one for today. Sergeant, the troops are revolting. Well, you're no prize pig yourself.
Oh, my God.
Page 2, next week.
Now,
it's a threat.
Yeah, this is what your Patreon money gets you.
Hate everything about all of this.
This was a Christmas gift because I tell way too many dad jokes. And then I do the dad joke thing of I just sit there and stare at them, smiling awkwardly until they acknowledge the joke.
I've got a free one for you, and maybe it's in your book. What do you call a Scottish rabbit?
What?
Hopscotch.
That's pretty good. That's very good. That's very good.
I got reams of this shit, people. Let's go.
Hey, are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of May 1st, 2023. Age of Wonders 4 comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC. I thought this was going to be on Game Pass, and I could see no reference to it, which I thought was really strange.
Hold on. Your Game Pass extraordinaire will check this out for you.
If our Game Pass researcher here. Have you guys played any of the Age of Wonders games? This is a blind spot for me completely.
I think like the second one back
in the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever played any of them.
Because there was Age of Wonders and Age of Empires.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar, yeah. They're real-time strategy games, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot like Civilization.
Okay.
Which, I'm not going to lie, Age of Empires, for years, decades even, I had misheard as Age of Vampires. I think I may have brought it up on this show before.
There we go. That's a game.
I heard people talking about it. It's like, man, that sounds like a really awesome vampire game, and I could never find it.
That's the alternate title for Vampire Survivors. Man. Speaking of vampires, Redfall comes out this week on Series, consoles, and PC. This is Game Pass day and date.
Correct.
I'm pretty curious about this one. I'm
Me too.
Checking it out.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna be checking it out this week, but probably the week after.
Yeah, same. I need some time to finish a Jedi game and clear some hard drive space.
I might play it with Angel Eye. I don't know what he's got going on, but we might check it out Tuesday. Yeah.
What are you gonna lose?
Requested. Yes, you will.
Next up is Super Dungeon Maker comes out on Switch and PC. Highly recommend checking out a trailer for this one. It's a super cute. Essentially, you're making Zelda dungeons with like legally distinct Zelda traps and enemies and stuff, and then you can share them out and go play community dungeons as well. It looks really cool. I think Super Dungeon Maker looks like a pretty fun time. And lastly here, we don't have like 400 games releasing this week. We've got Ravenlock comes out on Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. This is also Game Pass day and date. Looks like kind of a fun third-person action hack-and-slashy thing. I haven't really seen any coverage about this before, but so it looks like a fun little time. I like it. Let's talk about our only news story this week. It's certainly the most important news story here. A Vampire Survivors animated series is in the works. The company Story Kitchen is working on the series. They're also working on a Sifu and Streets of Rage TV shows. They have a bunch of like famous TV people that are working on this from kind of a conceptual level. Pongo's founder Luca Galante, says, quote, he's the guy who heads the studio who made Vampire Survivors. Says, quote, the most important thing in Vampire Survivors is the story, so it's a dream come true to see what started as a little indie game I made on the weekends come to life as an animated TV show. It's also great to be partnered up with such experienced and talented people to make the show. I do wonder if they've realized there isn't a single vampire in Vampire Survivors, though, end quote. Which, thank you. I really appreciate that.
In on the joke and acknowledging it. Also, he busts our theory that you were the vampires all along.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I was like, because like I said in Discord, you do play an Alucard like.
Yes.
And that they look like a vampire, but
right. He's just
like I also said in Discord, I am 100% down with them just doing like a character an episode and it just being 30 minutes of me watching god tier anime of somebody kicking hordes of enemies,
killing people with a garlic. Like,
yeah, and that's just the story. Yeah,
yeah. I feel like if they get anything right in this game, you just need to lean into the like fun stupidity of it. Like this is a game that does not take itself seriously. Like he's alluding to, there's literally no story. You just need to lean into, we're going to make a cool TV show with some of these quote-unquote Castlevania monsters and characters.
Or you just turn it into like 80s cartoons where all of a sudden you just have like all this lore dropped on you, and now as you play as your little pixelated Poe, you
got
have
a
like all
monster
this
of the
back
week.
end. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they make something that's fun. Like I don't want them to come out with something that's hyper serious or anything like that. Because I think that's missing the point.
The thing that shocked me the most, like I think the first season of the Netflix Castlevania one, and the thing that was absolutely shocking about that one was just how sick the animation was, especially in combat sequences. Like that first season of Castlevania was insanely good.
Yeah.
And the humor in Castlevania, my God, some of the driest, thickest humor you can think of, and it was fantastic.
Yep. Really good. All right, that's all of our news stories this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including a link to the Patreon page, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
$5 a month is a recommended tier over there. If your rich friend wants to spend way more than that, they are more than one. You can put whatever number you want in there, up to $1 million or more. Whatever. I'll make an LLC if they want to do that. Well, yeah, that's not a worry. If you can't support us financially or don't know a super rich friend, which, big same, you can support us by sharing us on social media, telling your friends. Word of mouth is a huge help, genuinely, for all of this stuff or anything that you watch or listen to or enjoy. And you can... I totally lost my train of thought. Anyways, that's our episode this week. See you next week. Bye.
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 My kid busted in just to say hi, and I was worried that, like, somebody got hurt or something. She's like, no. How are you? And I was like, you need to go.
Love you. Yeah.
That's right. Like, you gotta go, little buddy. Oh, man. Titles. Nimp.
I have 4.
Okay.
They are Know Your Lore, The Thing Bugsnax Taught Me, The Droids Are Back, and Cactus Smactus Medals.
Moon, what do you have?
This isn't deviant art. This is comics. Give him his full title. Referential spoiler. Double spoiler. The lesson the Bugsnax taught me. Hashtag crossover game. Whitesabers. Whitesabers.
Oh, white.
Big same kid and busts our theory.
Double spoilers. Whitesaber. I have Know Your Lore, The Droids Are Back, Referential Spoiler, Double Spoilers, and Whitesaber. I don't know if I missed any that you guys really clicked with.
I'm cool with Whitesabers.
Whitesaber is like a really dumb title, and I really love it.
Okay, I'm good with Whitesabers, and I'm ready.
I am too.
Is it Whitesaber or Whitesabers? Plural or singular?
I put Whitesabers,
okay.
But I think when I said it, it was Whitesaber. Actually, no, it was Whitesabers because I've been using the dual wield.
Okay, put an S on it.
Whatever. Fix it in post.
Stank on
it.
Yeah.
I'll
just do a pickup of S. All right. When you guys are ready?
Yep.
Ready.
All right. All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 810 for May 1st, 2023. Whitesabers.
Denounce the groups. I'm not a Jedi either.
May the 4th be with you.
I hate you.
It's time appropriate.
It is.
Oh, it was coming out this week, yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, watching. We greatly appreciate it. We hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.